list of predictions of what I think will happen at the 90th Academy Awards this Sunday, March 4th on ABC. Wherever you are in this world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Daniel Michael Tomsic. I am an actor, a writer, a director. I used to be a dishwasher, but now I've moved up in the world and now I'm a part-time cook. I am also the co-founder of Cell Media Productions, a production company that has made so many fantastic films such as The Painter, that we submitted to Sundance but did not get selected. And the Cleveland Film Festival also did not get accepted, and now we're doing this video, which is a big deal. So, in this video, I will be sharing with you some of my predictions of what I think will happen at the 2018 Academy Awards. Just to keep it short, I'm going to only be doing 6 categories: Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Lead Actor, Best Lead Actress, Best Director, and then finally Best Picture. So I'll start with the first category, Best Supporting Actress. And the nominees are Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, Allison Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer for The Shape of Water. Allison Janney is gonna win this category. I knew it from the moment I first saw I, Tonya in November. In I, Tonya, Allison Janney plays Tonya Harding's mother, and while she may seem like the one-dimensional abusive mother on paper, Janney brought a lot of depth into this performance. I mean, despite the fact that she's putting Tonya through so much mental, physical, and emotional abuse, when you look into her eyes, you can tell that she really does care and support her daughter. It's just in the only way she knows how.
You think Sonia Henny's mother loved her? Poor f***ing you. I didn't stay home making apple brown betties. No, I made you a champion. Knowing you'd hate me for it. That's the sacrifice a mother makes. I wish I'd had a mother like me instead of nice. Nice gets you shit. I didn't like my mother either, so what? I f***ing gave you a gift.
Now let's move on to the next category, which is Best Supporting Actor. And the nominees are Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project, Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water, Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World, and Sam Rockwell, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I'd like this award to go to Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, but that's not going to happen. It's going to go to Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. In 3 Billboards, he plays a racist cop who is just a completely unlikable character. But then in the middle of the movie, something happens to one of the major characters that completely turns his whole life around, and all of a sudden he becomes this good guy who's out for justice and is a little bit more of a compassionate person. And by the way, when I first saw this movie, I had no idea that was Sam Rockwell. So because he disappeared into this role very well, and because of this major story arc this character has, I'd say he deserves this Oscar. Yeah.
You do not call an officer of law a prick in his own station house, Mrs. Hayes. Or anywhere, actually.
What's with the new attitude, Dixon? Your mama been coaching you?
No. My mama doesn't do that.
Alright, so now let's move on to the Best Actress category. And the nominees are Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water, Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, and of course Meryl Streep for The Post. Big surprise that is. Woo! Go Meryl, 21, as if one wasn't enough. Yeah. It's gonna be Frances McDormand. She is a good actress, she's very talented, and she did give a good performance in 3 Billboards, but I don't personally think this was the most outstanding performance this year, simply because I've seen her do this kind of stuff before. The miniseries Olive Kitteridge, same character. But she was well cast in this movie, she played it to her strengths, and she made it entirely her own. Also, the Me Too movement is echoed throughout the entire plot of this movie, and that will give her the momentum she needs to win this Oscar.
I'm doing everything I can to track him down. I don't think those billboards is very fair.
The time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby, some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now. But I'm glad you got your priorities straight. I'll say that for you.
So now we've come to the Best Actor category. In my opinion, this is probably the easiest to call category this year. But I will still read off the nominees. The nominees for Best Actor are Timothée Chalamet for Call Me By Your Name, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour, and Denzel Washington, Roman J. Israel Esquire. Gary Oldman disappeared in the role of Winston Churchill. Granted, he had a ton of help from the hair and makeup department. I mean, look at that. I haven't seen a movie carried this well by a single actor since Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. And for that reason alone, I think Gary Oldman deserves this Oscar.
Hitler will not insist on outrageous terms. He will know his own weaknesses. He will be reasonable.
When will the lesson be learned? When will the lesson be learned? How many more dictators must be wooed, appeased, good God, given him mixed privileges, before we learn? You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth!
And now we've come to the Best Director category. I'll read off the nominees. Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele, Get Out, Greta Gerwig, Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson, Phantom Thread, and Guillermo del Toro, The Shape of Water. Alfonso Cuarón won his for Gravity, Alejandro Iñárritu won for The Revenant and Birdman. And this year, the third amigo of Cha-Cha-Cha will finally get his Oscar, Guillermo del Toro. Now, the Academy loves to recognize directors who realize their passions to the screen, and I think that's what got Damien Chazelle his Oscar for La La Land, and not Whiplash. And Del Toro does have an impressive body of work. He's done The Devil's Backbone, Hellboy, Crimson Peak, and Pan's Labyrinth, which he was actually nominated for an Oscar in 2007, I believe. But when I saw The Shape of Water, I thought that this film was basically the culmination of everything that Del Toro loved about cinema. And I think the Academy will recognize that too, which is why I think this is the appropriate time and movie for Del Toro to get his Oscar.
For me, the key of a movie is the actors. When I cast actors, I cast eyes, whether it's the eyes of Sally, the eyes of Octavia, the eyes of Michael, completely different eyes, and they suit the character.
And now we've come to the hardest category of them all, the Best Picture. And here are the nominees. Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I don't know. No, really, I don't know. I don't know. I don't fucking know what's gonna happen at the Oscars. Oh my God. I have not seen a race this tight in years. I mean, in the past, it could have been just between 2 movies, one having slightly more momentum than the other. But this year, I see it like a 3-way tie, maybe a 4-way tie. I mean, it could be The Shape of Water, it could be 3 Billboards, it could be Lady Bird, it could be Call Me By Your Name. I really don't know what's going to happen, guys. I really don't. I'm sorry. But I do have an idea. This year, I'm gonna make the ballsiest prediction I have ever made at the Oscars. You guys ready? The Oscar for Best Picture goes to La La Land. I'm sorry, there's been a mistake. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a mistake. It is not La La Land, people. I'm sorry, oh, here we go. So, the real Best Picture will be Lady Bird. That's right. I'm going with Lady Bird this year, and here's my reasons why. The preferential ballot. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Academy doesn't pick a Best Picture winner based on a majority system. It picks them using a preferential system. And this year, there are major contenders on the board here. There's The Shape of Water, a beautiful movie, well done by Del Toro. It addresses a lot of social issues of today. However, it is a divisive film. Lots of people have different opinions on this movie. Some call it a beautiful work of art. Some call it a weird science fiction fantasy that they just don't understand. And also, and more importantly, The Shape of Water did not receive a Best Ensemble nomination at the SAG Awards this year.
That's a big deal.
It's exactly what cost La La Land the Best Picture race last year. And who ended up winning that year? Moonlight. This year, who ended up winning the Best Ensemble vote? 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. That movie has the most momentum by far this year, more than any other film that's been nominated. It's won the BAFTA Award for Best British Film. It's won the Golden Globe for Best Picture Drama. It's clearly a comedy. But anyway, this movie has the most momentum built up behind it. But the one thing that trips it up is that it did not receive a Best Directing nomination this year. And that is a big one to miss out on. Now, in the past, there have been movies that have won Best Picture without a directing nomination, like Argo. However, that year, everybody wanted to see Ben Affleck get nominated. And when Argo won, it was pretty much an IOU vote. This year, I don't think 3 Billboards has that amount of sympathy for Martin McDonagh for it to win Best Picture, which leaves me with Lady Bird. Lady Bird, even though it has the least amount of momentum this year, it has gotten all the nominations that it needs to stay in this race. It got a writing nomination, got a directing nomination, a bunch of acting nominations, ensemble nomination at the SAG Awards, and it got a Best Picture nomination.
Obviously.
So, this is why I think Lady Bird should not be counted out.
I want to go where culture is, like
How
New
in the
York,
world did I raise such a
or at least
snob?
Connecticut or New Hampshire,
Well,
where
you
writers
couldn't
live in the
get
woods.
into those schools anyway.
Mom,
You can't even pass your driver's test.
because you wouldn't let me practice
The way
enough.
that you work, or the way that you don't work, you're not even worth state tuition, Christine.
My name is Lady Bird.
Well, actually, it's not, and it's ridiculous.
Call me
because your
Lady
name
Bird
is
like you
Christine.
said you would.
You should just go to City College. You know, with your work ethic, just go to City College and then to jail, and then back to City College, and then maybe you'd learn to pull yourself up and not expect everybody to do everything.
So those are my 2018 Oscar predictions, everyone. Hashtag Oscar prediction. So if you like this video, all you have to do is scroll down, not all the way at the bottom, just right underneath the video, there should be a thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't like that. We like thumbs up. But if that's too complicated, you could also make a comment in the comment section below. It's a little bit lower there. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, that's even better. So until then, I'll see you at the Oscars. Good night, everyone. Are we done? Give back my stuff. Get this out of here. Oh my god, this took longer than it should have.